Hi, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 6th of July, 2023. I am joined today again with psychic medium and remote viewer Liz Cross. How are we doing today?
Great, thank you.
Okay, this is a request. Somebody has filled out a request for probe on your website, psychiclizcross.com. So the questions here are the questions that they have asked. The subject matter is Gavin Newsom, who is the governor of California. So all the questions that I'll be putting here are what's been written by one of your contributors, Liz.
Yes, I immediately forward these things over to the interviewers, and it goes in a queue. I know we get a lot of requests for probes.
Yeah, and some of them are not possible to do because they're too generic, or there isn't enough subject matter, or the target is not quite right. But this one was easy, or will be easy, because it's just one man and a bunch of questions. So, okay. Right, let's go. Can we get a connection with Gavin Newsom, please?
I've got him here.
Okay, I'm just going to start this by reading one of the questions that you have to answer, apart from who do you want us to probe. One of the things that you have to then answer is, why do they think this would be a good probe? And the person who's written this has put, there is much crime, out of control taxes, extreme high levels of homelessness, and unaffordable costs of living there, which is talked about heavy in the media and seems to correlate with many other American cities currently. So we'll start with the questions in order that they've been given. Number one, let's ask him this. What are the main contributors to homelessness and crime in San Francisco?
Contributors to homelessness and crime in San Francisco. Alcoholism.
Anything else?
There's nowhere for these people to go. They've been thrown out of their housing. The weather obviously supports the homeless population as opposed to colder climates, wetter climates. And San Francisco has a lot of charitable organizations, a lot of places for homeless to go. It's overrun with homelessness. It's outgrown these organizations' capacity to support them. But obviously within the homeless communities, there's still word going around that this is the place to be. Let me ask him this question. They do not prosecute people stealing small amounts. That's correct. Okay. So small amounts of goods from stores, they do not even bother to prosecute. Do you believe that this increases the homeless population? He says most probably, because if you're homeless, you don't have any money to buy anything, I'm saying, and you need, something to eat. You walk in, you steal it, you're not going to be prosecuted. Nobody's coming. The police are not going to deal with it. Therefore, it's very attractive to people that do not have homes and do not have money.
Right. Next question, as written, are the liberal government policies mostly to blame for these issues in San Francisco?
Do you believe it is because of the liberal policies? No, he says no, liberalism, no. Do you believe that they are to blame? He says it's not liberal, it's policies in general. Spoken like a true politician.
Okay, but his administration is a liberal administration, is it
But
not?
your administration is liberal. Yes, he's a Democrat. He calls himself a Democrat, not a liberal.
Right. Is Gavin Newsom taking orders from the cabal or politicians with a dark agenda to enforce policies that are harmful economically for the state of California?
Okay, let's break that down. The dark agenda.
Well, the question is he taking orders? Is he an order taker or an order maker? I have a feeling, my personal opinion, he's an order taker. So is he taking orders from the cabal, whoever they are, politicians, or anybody with a dark agenda? In other words, is he taking orders to enforce or make policies that are harmful economically for the state of California?
Making the policy? Yeah, he's like, I'm the policy maker. Do you have anyone behind you influencing? Yes. And who are the businesses? So right now he's saying California is scrambling to hold on to businesses. That's where they make the most of their tax dollars, through business production, and businesses are screaming and shouting at him that they're leaving the state. They're just looking for other places to go. So he's trying to facilitate tax breaks for them to keep them there. And I'm saying, do you understand that people are fleeing California? He goes, yes, I understand that. How is the state doing with the fact that people are leaving in their droves? It's hurting. So are you in a deficit? We always run into deficit. How do you feel that these high tax policies, these not prosecuting for even minor crimes, how do you feel that is affecting San Francisco? He said, well, it's really affecting San Francisco, but how? It's down. It's taken a nosedive. How are you going to fix it? He has no idea. He just said to me, I don't know if it can ever be fixed, because they depend on that mindset, that alignment to keep their jobs. Therefore, any radical turnarounds, what he's telling me, they would lose voters. I'm like, okay, so let's ask him this question. Are you just concerned with voters and keeping a job? Of course. So you would rather not upset the voters. He said, the voters are everything. We depend upon the voters. If we start making radical turnarounds, we're going to lose our voter base. And somebody else with even more, or different agendas, the same. So if he starts changing his agenda now, right? So say he pulls a Giuliani, okay? And I know Giuliani is hated, but you have to look at New York in the 1970s and 80s. It was a cesspit, right? It was crime-ridden. This is what San Francisco has gone into today. And Giuliani came in and he totally cleaned up New York. But he did that by instating or putting in laws that, you can't even spit on the sidewalk, right? To extreme. Now, I don't know if that's correct, but I've heard that expression before. If Giuliani's in power, you can't spit on the sidewalk. Right. But what Gavin Newsom is saying to me, there is an element of him that would like to do that. However, he knows that that is the death knell for his political career. And he has high aspirations. He doesn't just want to be the governor. He wants to be president someday. So the last thing he wants to do is to jeopardize losing any elections as a governor without having the opportunity to remain in politics and get to be president. Does all of that make sense?
Perfectly. Yes, it does.
Does it? It's a
Yeah.
roundabout way of getting it, but we have to just keep.
Well, it makes perfect sense, but it also shows the self-serving nature of just about every politician. He says he wants to clean California up, which means he knows there's a problem there, but he doesn't want to upset his voter base because it'll affect him. I mean, businesses and people will leave California. They are leaving in droves because of the high taxes, the crime, the all sorts of things. People don't want to live under that, and people will move. There's always an element of, people want to move to California because, it never rains in Southern California and all that sort of, the beaches and everything. But then reality bites. In some areas in California, it's so expensive to live. I mean, property taxes are through the roof, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a year and things like that. I mean, who can afford things like that? Most people
That
can't.
is so crazy. That is so crazy. I know California is wonderful. I've been there. I love the Californian people. I love how open and authentic they are. And I love that they're healthy and they're intelligent. I love that. They're critical thinkers. But to me, paying that kind of tax just to live there, it's like, whoa, God, that is so expensive.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
I still love $1 Million Listing, by the way. I hope they're recording a new season. If I'm going to watch a house show, it's going to be California. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So it says here, I might have to reword this slightly. Will the homeless crisis and surge in crime, will that situation improve in San Francisco anytime soon?
No, because it has to have someone go in who is willing to say, my career, it's not about me. It's about making this city livable again.
You're never going to hear that about from a politician.
Right.
Okay.
I think that what I'm getting now is they're going to have more and more businesses and residents fleeing San Francisco. And it's not that they're going to move to other parts of the state. They're going to move out of state. I feel like there's a big push to go to Texas. I'm getting that through now. And when they see that people are not going to put up with this, they're going to move. Their property prices, as I'm looking out into the future, they're tanking. They're tanking. And when you start hitting people in the pockets, they wake up and they do something about it. And they're getting out of there. That's when someone will have to really take the bull by the horns and say, I don't care what anybody thinks, this has to be cleaned up. And those are the people, the ones that are moving, those are the ones that can afford to move. There's a lot of poverty in San Francisco. There's a lot of people that live a hand-to-mouth existence. They cannot even afford to move. They rely upon their small jobs there. What's going to happen, it's going to be the educated elite, the wealthy people that are vacating.
Or even the middle class, if they can afford and if they can get a job in Florida or Texas or one of the lower tax states, and if they can go, I mean, they'll go. Why wouldn't they? It makes sense. People don't want to be taxed to death. People don't want to have homeless people living right outside their door that they have to pay property taxes on. I mean, the not in my backyard, applies everywhere. So, California will be left with either the mega ultra rich who can afford 30, 50,000 a year on property tax, and the rest of the people, who can't. I mean, the whole of them. I don't think for 1 minute. I mean, California is such a huge population, 50 or 60 million. I think it's the most populous state in the union, isn't it? So, at one point, it was the 6th largest. If it was a country, it'd be the 6th largest country by GDP on the planet. So just the state of California. So you know, things tend to happen first in California and then go east.
Oh, it's already going east. Like there are cities in the eastern United States, northeastern, that are plagued with homelessness, drugs, and crime. Philadelphia is one of them that everybody's sort of keeping an eye on. New York City is now going back to what it was in the 80s.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are moving to Florida and places like that. They're exiting New York in droves.
Oh, I know. I'm in one of the states they're all fleeing to. I know.
Yeah. Okay, we've got 2 more questions. Some of this we've already covered, but can you mind probe into the thoughts and feelings and intentions of Gavin Newsom about the state of California now and in the near future?
I don't feel what I'm picking up, and I don't know anything about Gavin Newsom. I really don't. I don't watch the news and all of that. It's just better if I don't. But anyway, why not, Liz? Well, because you're not supposed to. Rules of remote viewing. Please take a course. He's more concerned with himself than the state. He has. I feel like he's burnt out. I don't know how long he's been there. I really don't. But
It seems like forever.
yeah, but he's burned out. He's got his sights set on something more. This is just a stepping stone. It's not a permanent thing for him. Whereas when we probed DeSantis in the past, and of course now he has changed his mind and he is running for president, DeSantis was all about Florida. It's my home state. This is what I care about. I'm not getting that from Newsom. I'm getting, oh yeah, I'll do whatever I have to, but I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to go on to bigger and better things.
Okay, he seems to have been in politics for about 20 odd years. He was originally the elected mayor of San Fran in 2003. I mean, he's been the governor there since 2019. So, yeah, but he's been in politics for quite a while.
Wow.
Okay, there's one more question. Okay, this is a this is a group together probe. Can you mind probe into the citizens of San Francisco and the business owners there, their feelings about the issues that they face daily as residents coping with the state of things? So that's actually 2 questions. So you need to group together the citizens of San Fran and the business owners of San Francisco.
So a lot of them, the first feeling I picked up on was denial. This isn't going to stay like this. How can this be happening? They're not going to keep running the city like this. And a lot of the people that are still there are saying, this has to change. So they're in denial that this is a permanent fixture, at least, into the near future. How long will it take to clean up San Francisco? This is going to take 10, 15 years to clean up. This isn't going to clean up overnight. And I'm saying to these people, what are you doing? A lot of them, again, can't afford to move. And a lot of them, their communities are there, their families are there, particularly the Asian community I'm picking up on. That's their home. This is where they like to be. And they just think, surely this is going to turn around. This isn't going to stay like this forever. But let's move San Francisco out 10 years. Let's go July 6, 2033, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What is the state of the homeless population? So 10 years out, it has actually decreased. When did it start to decrease? In 2029. That's when I feel enough is enough. So for those people in San Francisco, living there, visiting, working, things are not going to change until 28, 29. That's a long time.
Mm.
Not good. Any other questions?
No, I think that was all the questions that we had for Gavin Newsom.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thanks to our person that submitted this probe.